Thank you so much for joining us. We hope that what we're about to do is enjoyable and not too painful.
Excellent.
It'll be fun. Trust us.
She's trusting us.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. All right.
Tell me when you can see the table.
Now.
In your honor, I made blue tamales.
Wow.
Now, 4 of these are queso, cheese.
Okay. Yes.
1 is dark chocolate.
Which I'm really hoping I don't get.
Oh!
Exactly.
But we're going to take
That
turns.
is pleasant.
As we ask questions, we're going to take turns taking a bite before we ask the question.
Yes.
And you get all the enjoyment.
Yes.
Watching our face.
None of the pain.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Because it means I get to witness your suffering.
Yeah.
Which is freaking hilarious.
And you
Isn't
can take pleasure in it.
See?
Yes.
Because this is play.
Yeah.
So,
And you did it to yourself.
I did,
Yeah.
as I do. So first, if you want to give a little self-intro, because we know who you are. You are Laura Jimenez, and what is your daytime
What's your stick?
shtick?
What's your stick?
Okay. So I get paid the medium bucks to teach. So I teach at Boston University language and literacy program. I teach in the reading ed program. I do children's literature, and I also love to teach research methods. I just love digging in and figuring out the problem and figuring out ways that we can find not necessarily the answer, but an answer to problems, to issues. I study children's and young adult literature with a particular focus on representation of mis- and underrepresented communities. Not any particular one, so it's not like I only do queer theory, or I only do feminist theory, or I only do Latinx theory, or Chicano theory. I don't really focus on any one. I really try to look at this idea of representation across the board, very sort of intersectional in ways. And I have a special focus, a special love in my heart for reading comprehension in graphic novels. Eventually, I'd love those two sort of fields to cross paths.
Please mention your blog, too.
Oh,
I love your blog.
So I write a blog. It's called Book Toss. So if you could just look that up. It's the reason why I started using that actually is because it's 2 words that are easily spelled and they don't often are seen together. Right? So Book Toss.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is that it really is, I wanted to have something that talked to the non-sacred nature of books.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of the sacred, screed that people get around books. Like, I love this. I am nostalgic about this object, and so therefore it must be good. It must be good for everyone, and it must be good forever. And so instead, I really want to talk about, some books are good, some books aren't, some books you want to keep, some books you want to toss. It's just, let's keep it moving, people. Let's keep moving forward.
And we've never needed that sensibility more than now, I think. Well, we are just thrilled to pieces that you've joined us.
So we would like you to share with us up to 3 things that most people do not know about you.
Ooh. Do they have to be things that anyone would care about?
No.
Ooh, excellent. Okay, I don't like it. I am ambidextrous.
Wow. That's pretty cool, actually.
Yes. And so when I have 2 sons, soon to be 13 and 15, but when they were babies, it meant I could hold them, right, and comfort them in one arm, and I could eat with the other, and it didn't matter which one.
Oh, I would have paid really good money to be able to do that when my kids were little.
Right? You know exactly what I'm talking about. Ooh, here's one. I am very good at, but I loathe gardening.
Hey now.
Interesting.
That's complex. I like that.
Isn't it?
Good, but don't like it.
Yes, I think it's the Mexican. I'm sort of like, I have to be good at it, but I really don't like it.
Yeah,
my partner loves gardening. She's very bad at it.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And so she's sort of like...
Yeah, so that's 2. Any more, or are we going to stick with 2?
I love cars. Like, if I had stupid money, I would go and buy cars.
Wait, if you had stupid money, what's the first car you would buy? Because I want to know this.
Ooh.
Take a moment.
I would say a Mini Cooper, the sports wagon edition,
Mhm.
right? With a hard top but convertible.
Oh.
Okay.
Yes.
It's like your decorative car.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
the one you park out front and admire.
Yeah, like a fountain. You could even turn it into a
I
fountain.
could take it into a fountain.
As long as
Yeah.
we're talking this kind of money. Why
Yeah,
not?
I mean, if it's
But
stupid
it's
money,
gotta
make
be
it a
stupid
fountain.
money, though.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
well,
Right? And since I'm a lesbian, right, that amount of money will never happen.
what? Why?
Let's make stupid money. We have a tendency not to. We have a tendency to, like, want to, I don't know, give back to the world and be part of the community and blah, blah, blah. Really irritating.
Well,
All right. Well, you
I-
know,
I
you could
can
be the
identify-
first.
kindergarten teachers don't make stupid money either.
Right, exactly.
So thank you for sharing those. I love all of them. And now the world will love them as well. Are we ready to play the game?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Wait a minute.
Welcome to the acceptance game. Do you recognize this?
It is a bear.
It is. It
It's
is.
a specific bear, though.
Bear.
Yes. We have numbers 1 through 5
Oh, okay.
representing the 5 questions.
Got it.
4 cheese tamales, 1 dark chocolate tamale. And unless she refuses, we're going to take turns eating them.
No, I know.
Now, the blue is food coloring. It is nothing but food coloring, but that doesn't help our visual receptors much. Okay, so what number do you feel like?
Can you see that?
3.
Okay.
All right, here's the proof.
Jesus, I'm sorry. It just looks like soap. It looks like
Cut that through.
craft bear soap.
You see this?
Get your tea.
Oh, yeah, I need my tea to prepare.
Now you can spit it on the plate where she can't see it if you need to.
Hey, it's not that bad.
I can cook.
Hold on, I got too faster. I can ask it now. Do you play? If yes, how? If no, if not, why not?
Grammar.
I do, but I have to clarify. I'm not great at competing. So if play means competition, I am cutthroat and make it not fun for anyone. So if I play something like, let's say, a board game, like my very favorite board game is Risk, and no one I know will play it with me because I make them cry.
Oh.
So other than that, as long as it's not competitive, I play almost all the time. And I think the way that I play is mostly around like word games and puns and sort of verbal silliness. And I have a group of very, very good colleagues and friends that we're always playing like the band name game. I don't know if that's like a thing. So if somebody will say something and it'll be like a couple of words, 1 or 2 words, 3 words put together that don't make a lot of sense.
Like blue tamale roulette.
Yes,
There's
exactly.
a band name.
There's a band name. And then you have to find the kind of music
Oh,
that they
I was
have.
just going to ask you the genre for blue tamale roulette.
Exactly.
Does she-
Okay, so do you all remember, Lawrence Welk?
Yes!
Yes, absolutely.
So imagine Lawrence Welk type staging, right, with a really traditional, 16-piece mariachi band.
I thought
That
you would go
beat
there.
Blue Tamale Roulette.
And they're all wearing the blue ruffly tuxedo things?
Oh, yes, they do. With, matchy bandoleros, right, with the big-ass guitars, right?
I love this. This has to be a real thing.
But see, that's band name, right? So that's like, you find the phrase, and then you have to match it with
That's fantastic.
incongruous music styles and settings.
I love that game.
I think we should start playing that game.
What number?
We'll go with 4.
4. All right. Please be chocolate.
But if you get it at the end, are you really going to get the frighteningness of the chocolate? I really think you should go from the middle.
Oh, you are making me laugh. I'm coughing. You're making me laugh.
There you go.
I love you, Laura. Oh,
See, there's nothing wrong with my smile.
All right.
I said they were good.
Okay. If you were trapped on a tropical island with a limitless supply of water and your favorite food,
Blue tamales.
but were allowed only one belonging and it had to be a toy, which toy would you choose?
Because you guys think of this play as being very broadly, right, construed, I'm going to take toy as being broadly construed as well.
Indeed it is.
Okay.
So I would have the most James Bondian Austin Healy available, land, sea, and air, so that when I got tired of the island, which would take a long time, let's be honest, but this would be the car that has it has rocket propelled, oil grenades, and it would have like pop-up wings. It would have like the suicide doors that they don't make anymore because they're called suicide doors, right?
Yeah.
And it would be the car that everyone would say, that's a ridiculous car. That's not a car. That's not actually a vehicle. That's a man boy toy. That's the car I would want. And then when I wanted to, I would escape the island.
Yeah. You see, now, by answering the first silly question about the things people don't know about you, it's just set up this beautiful understanding for me about why. And if I didn't know that about you, I wouldn't fully understand the beauty of this particular toy.
Right. Of the toyness of the Aston Martin.
Yeah, because it would be. This is toy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All
All right, I'm very afraid now because I think I know which one is true.
I'm going to move this. Have you done this?
And I have to go next.
Let's go 5.
5.
Hold on.
Here you go.
Ooh. See, I think you can pick them up with your hand. All right.
Yeah.
Cheese, I'm eating.
That's a bigger bite. That's a significantly bigger bite.
Oh. Do you have to agree with or understand the people with whom you engage in play? And do you want us to redefine our definition of play?
No, because I'm going to ignore it anyway.
Okay, fair enough.
Agree with and understand are so completely different.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have to understand who I'm fighting with. And I actually think engaging in wordplay and silliness and all that helps me understand people better. In a lot of ways, I do have to agree with them. And the reason why is that once people bring up racist, misogynistic, homophobic garbage into their conversation as if it is normal and nice and perfectly fine, I'm out. In that way, I do have to have a certain kind of, there has to be some sort of an understanding between us that all human beings, have the right to exist without your stupid judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's got to be a sort of a baseline. Other than that, I'm pretty good.
My follow-up question is, if you said to someone, do they have to intrinsically believe that? Or if you said, look, these are the ground rules for my house or my play or whatever, wherever you are, that we don't talk about any of this stuff, could you still play and accept someone as long as they don't bring it into your space?
I will answer this with an example.
Okay.
So I was at a conference, at a table, of people who were all interested in doing a particular thing, right? So we were talking about how to get this thing off the ground. Somebody made an extremely transphobic drag joke, right? Although all the people at the table had similar interests, right? And similar education and similar, right? All those things were very, very similar. I noticed that the person that was in charge of this particular meeting didn't call that out, right? Actually laughed along. And at that point, I knew that I could not work with these people. A lot of people say, well, that's a teachable moment. I'm like, yeah, but you know what? I don't want to have to teach all the time, everybody. If that happened in a class or in professional development that I'm doing, right? Or some sort of, if I'm presenting and that happened in that way, right? Then yes, I'm there to do that work. But in this case, I was supposed to be getting something out of that work. I was supposed to be I was supposed to be more collegial, and I decided, okay, this is not a space for me. Right? Is I'm going to subvert any system you put in front of me, my own game.
Yeah.
Right? You guys put me on an island. I figured out a way to get off the island. I will change the rules in order to take advantage of a system.
Well, that's what I admire about your work as well, because you're willing, as you said, to take books that are beloved and, in a way, make yourself a target by saying no, and this is why I think you should toss it. And by your own admission, from what I read, get some real heat from it, I would imagine.
It's a very heavy conversation to have with somebody wearing a bear mask.
Well, you see,
that's the point.
I consider to take my bear mask off for this.
No.
And I'm like, no, that's what people want me to do.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm not hurting anybody with the bear mask, and I'm just reminding you that we're getting to this really serious point through the lens of play.
Right.
And I've said it before in our interviews, is that play is a lot more serious than we give it credit for.
Absolutely, yeah. I will say you should not play with bears.
That's a good point to make.
Good point. Got 1 and 2.
1. What?
Are you or mine? Is it me?
It's
Me?
you.
I think
It's me. Okay. Aha!
Great. The picky eater gets to eat the.
Would you like to do this one?
No, go ahead. I signed up for this loony game.
Think about the last time you played, in whatever capacity or definition you choose. What did you get out of it, and how did playing affect you?
So it's hard to think of a particular time because so much of what I do is just sort of continuously being silly and ridiculous. So I taught on Thursday night, last Thursday night, right? And we were looking at a hashtag, right? I am not your princess,
Mhm.
right? Which is really, it's a beautiful book. It's short. It's a collection. And it's this gorgeous collection of poetry and photographs and artwork and all this stuff. It's just gorgeous. And so it's one of the books I had my students reading. They're being very school oriented. They're being very sincere. They're doing all of this stuff. When I see them doing that, I want to bring them back a little bit. So I think it's a need to infuse sort of silliness and wordplay and that into those sort of situations. I started reading to them parts of that book you've actually got behind you.
Oh, Celia's book. She
Yes.
lives here.
And so I started, right, and so you
Lives in
take,
Chicago.
you take something that's, right, you take something that's so serious and can be so depressing and so, right, and then you put in, like, First Rules of Punk, and you have them laughing,
Mhm.
right, and it's that kind of whiplash, I think it acts as a stress reliever, it acts as a release valve, it acts as something like, I don't want to avoid this all the time. I want my students not to avoid the uncomfortableness because that's all they can do is be uncomfortable.
It's kind of a reset button, you know?
It is. It's difficult to explain how tiring it is to be the person at the table, to be hammering at this stuff all the time. Right? And so every once in a while, I need a break. I need to relax. I need to laugh. I need to be able to do that. And I think that my students need that as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, and so then you're up, Annie, for the chocolate one.
All right. I hope you enjoy this, Laura. I'm doing this for you.
God, that was horrible.
Yeah. Oh. Well,
Do tell.
chocolate's not bad.
Did you just lick the question? Every other interview, she licks the questions.
Well, the chocolate's good. It's just the tamales. Hold on. I gotta take some tea.
Why don't you lick the question again?
Yeah, good idea. That's better. Do you think there is a connection between being able to play and being able to accept other people, ideas, or beliefs?
Yes.
There you go. And we have it.
Really? For eating the chocolate, Laura?
That's all you get.
A little more, please.
She knew what you'd go through.
A little more, please.
No, she's just she knew we expected more. She's like, no,
I know what she's doing.
I know what she's doing too.
Yeah, but I'm not going to let her get away with it.
I'm just happy she's doing it to you.
Okay. Okay. Yes, it is important, but one of the things I think sometimes happens is when you're in those spaces where it is confrontational, right? If you get into confrontational spaces, a lot of the moves around white middle class discourse to let each other off is to make a joke of it or like do the I'm just kidding, right? And so, yes, it's important to play and to better, right, build bonds so that you can have uncomfortable conversations, but it should never be used as a way to avoid those conflicts.
Mhm.
That's where I feel like that play space can get, it can be a place to excuse behaviors or excuse statements or ideas. When you can laugh with somebody, when you can be a genuine laugh, then I think it's a way to be closer to somebody. Right? You can share that. It's a way of community building. On the other hand, I think I am very cognizant of, like, there's like this idea in comedy of punching up or punching down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so punching up is when you make fun of, I guess is the best way to put it, but of somebody who has privilege. So you're taking, making fun of somebody that has the privilege. Punching down is somebody who is less privileged.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I think I'm always very cognizant of punching up.
Yeah.
Right? And so I watch for that a lot. I watch for those interactions when all of a sudden it becomes racialized.
I'm just struck by how many lenses you can see something through, and how hard it is to see something through all the lenses simultaneously.
It is.
How do you do that? This is going off a little, I know, but in terms of choosing acceptance, to Christina's question, have you always been able to see through all these lenses? How does this work?
I think one thing that does help is I do have. Right? Are you familiar with the idea of liminal space?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's one of those like $4 words, right? So it's this idea of space between. But imagine yourself standing in a doorway between a hallway and a room. Okay? If you stand in the doorway, are you in the hallway or are you in the room? One way of looking at it is that yes, you are in the hallway, yes, you are in the room, and no, you are neither one of them. But it says that's what a liminal space is. It is yes and no. Because my mother's white, my father's Mexican, right? And I mean like white. I mean like she's from Minnesota.
Ooh, that's pretty white.
My dad's Mexican. I grew up with my Mexican family in LA, right? But I do not have the Azteca features that the rest of my family has. Right? So, I grew up, I was lesbian from very, very early age, right? I grew up in these in-between spaces, right? And so I think that is, like, if I had an identity, if I had to choose, it would be like an liminal identity. Mm-hmm. So I think it's easier for me because I've always seen the world from these multiple perspectives. Yep. But you said, how can you do it? Here's what you do. You look for the most vulnerable character. Look for the most vulnerable character in the book or movie or play or television show. Look at their identity. And then, and this is what I tell my students, write down all of the things you know or think you know, including all of the horrible stereotypes that you hold in your head that you know you should not think about. And write them on a piece of paper. Okay? This is important. You gotta get it out of your head. And every time you run into one of those things, that's a pink flag that's going up. Mm-hmm. Because every time that book reifies those stereotypes, right, and those tropes that we all know, whether or not we hate them, love them, believe them, or don't, but we all know them, that is a concern.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. That's a really tangible tool and practice that we can all do.
We are just,
thank you,
so appreciative, and it was so much fun watching you laugh at Annie eat that chocolate tamale.
That's hilarious.
Oh, God.
Laura, thank you so much.
Absolutely, you guys.
We had a wonderful time.
We hope you had fun. We had a blast.
And we learned. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your week.
All right. Have a good afternoon.